So this is session 10 of 10. Thanks to Susan, and thanks to Linda, and thanks to Todd behind the camera. When I think of spiritual practice, I think of kindness. That if anything is worth cultivating, it would be kindness.
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, being kind to yourself. Okay, I know you're a pet owner, and you're a pet owner, and I'm a pet caregiver, and so is Todd. Is there anybody in your life that you treat better than your pets?
Good question.
Don't they get pretty good care and love, and and wouldn't you do whatever you can do to facilitate their nice life? And on a daily basis, and mostly doing it without even thinking it's a burden, but this is just what you do.
Yeah.
Is it possible that you could adopt your own ego as a kind of pet, or as some relative that's been given over into your care? And that you would offer that part of you the same love and care and respect that you do to your pets. Right? So kindness, first of all, to you.
Yes.
You know, and acceptance, they're kind of go together, right? We all have our good and bad sides and good and bad points, and we're human beings, so, and human nature covers a very broad spectrum.
Except all of us.
Except all of us, and also understanding that, like, not everybody starts at the same place.
Right.
So those people who've experienced some form of trauma, like,
Compassion.
that affects everything in their life.
Yes, it
right?
does.
And even, like we said, even if you don't know what's inside of everybody's bowl, everybody's got something going on. And on that basis alone, isn't it good to cultivate a kind of kindness inwards, but then also going outwards?
Yeah.
And you don't have to understand everything about everybody, but just enough to understand that, yeah, we all go through things.
Yeah.
And it's not always easy. And moving from wherever place you felt that you were into a new place is not always easy, and it's not always sort of tidy. And it can take a while to get the hang of wherever you are next. But this thing of kindness and acceptance, to me, it all kind of comes back to that. And the more we cultivate that, it's a win-win-win. And so it's not that your ego's not going to turn into your clear self.
So you might as well be friends with it.
Might as well be friends with it. It's a part of you that is...
It's going to be there all the time.
It's going to be there all the time now. So how you treat it matters. I don't know if that light matters or...
Yep, it matters.
Okay.
Okay, we're back on.
To me, there's some aspect of spiritual practice that goes beyond self-improvement. No doubt we've discussed and thought about some aspects that are sort of more psychologically based or sociologically based. But who you are is broader than just your ego. And all of those things that go on in that state. And it's lucky that all of us at least have found beautiful places to live. And just going outside does something. It expands your sense of you. To include the sky and the nature and the water.
Yes.
So
the trees.
Environment really matters.
It does.
Internal environment really matters, but external environment really matters, and then company really matters. So it's been so nice to be with you today and to explore these ideas and to kind of celebrate that we've been on this journey for quite a long time.
Yeah. Yes.
One of the real touchstones for me is breath. Because breath by itself is quite in tune with nature, in the sense that it's cyclical rather than linear. When we're looking at storyline, it's all linear.
Yeah.
But if you look at your life and your breath, it's closer to nature in that it's cyclical rather than linear. Breathing out to breathe in, breathing in to breathe out. And that way it's not part of a storyline.
Right.
You know, breath isn't historical. So every time you focus on your breath, you're bringing your attention back
To the present.
To the
to your
present.
moment,
Yeah.
to your moment, to your moment,
And to your body.
to your body.
The connection.
Yeah. And there it's not that theoretical. I
Right.
mean, it's very practical and very down to earth.
You're also taking it away from the mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Getting more to the inner core,
Yeah.
who you are.
And it's always there. What a beautiful thing that breath is always there to be focused on. So before we wind up, I would like to give each of you a chance to say or ask and tell me about how your day was.
Yes. Well, the day was fantastic for sure. But I'd like to explore a little bit more the idea of flow
Mm-hmm.
and then resistance.
Mm-hmm.
If something comes to us, or someone comes to us with an idea or a request,
Mm-hmm.
in the past I've sometimes been resistant,
Mm-hmm.
and now I'm trying to open up more and flow with it,
Mm-hmm.
which has been good in many cases, but sometimes the request is not in sync with maybe my value system or where I want to be spending my time.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm not sure then if I'm resisting and I'm not in the flow. Maybe if I gave it a chance, it might open something up for me that I'm digging my heels in about.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have clarity on that piece so much as to whether to remove resistance all the time in order to stay in the flow, or maybe use meditation as a vehicle to help get clarity on that specific situation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my...
So what have you concluded so far?
What I've concluded so far is, in most cases, I'm trying to remove more resistance,
Mm-hmm.
because the resistance causes friction between another person.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's not flow.
Mm-hmm. Although to me there is a value to practical boundaries.
Well, that's that too. That too.
Yeah.
So I've removed more resistance, and I've been surprised
Mm-hmm.
at what I'm capable of doing that I thought I wasn't able to do.
Mhm.
Yes, because it takes energy to resist.
Well, sure, it's a holding.
It is.
So it's like you're sitting on this trunk of something,
Yes.
and
Might as well just do it. Because it takes more energy to resist
sure.
than to actually carry out what the request might have been.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about this whole thing about holding people in your penalty box. Like you got a hold in there,
Yes, it's true.
right?
That takes energy too.
It takes a lot of energy, and not only that, when you then enter into the next situation with them, energetically they'll feel something if you're still holding.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Yes. Because, I can pick up other people's
Yeah.
energies.
Yeah. I think the first place to be kind is to you, for each person to be kind to themselves.
Right.
And like the rest of life, we learn as we go.
True.
So you try something and you say, well, how'd that go?
Yes.
Well,
you
that part was
reassess.
good, but that wasn't so hot. And there are people in our lives that don't seem to have boundaries.
That's true.
So there's no, it's like trying to fill a bucket that's got no bottom.
It's leaking.
Yeah, leaking
yes.
or maybe no bottom at all.
Yeah.
Yes.
So no matter how much you pour in,
Yeah. It's never full.
yeah.
It's never enough.
Yeah.
So I think life is like endlessly adjusting.
True.
And the more you learn, the more the adjustment is smoother.
Because you get to see where the synergy is with the different individuals you
Yeah.
interact with.
Yeah, and some people, they'll surprise you if you let them.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
When I was
Really
in
open to letting them.
When I was in Guatemala, we were often under sort of curfew, and that. So in the yard, and in the yard was the hotel people that's where they had their chickens. And they'd come and feed them a couple of times a day. But outside of that, the chickens were on their own.
Yes.
And so I just learned about how chickens were, not under supervision.
Yes.
Because if they're under supervision, what you're going to learn about is your supervision. You won't learn about them. You'll be learning, if you're looking, you'll be learning about you.
Yes. Yes.
So there's a great line from Thich Nhat Hanh. I don't know if you know that name, but he's a Vietnamese monk. And he said, you have to love people in such a way that they feel free.
That's a very good point.
I like that. And the more,
Yes.
and you can only give what you have, right?
You have to feel good about being around you and your energy.
Yeah. And out of that is like the kindness that we talked about and the acceptance. But
Unconditional love.
yeah, but life is always a work in progress.
It is.
So
There's no right or wrong answer. It just depends on
not
the
really.
situation.
And the world of daily circumstances and events is the field under which you test your theories.
The teacher.
Sure, because you can have any kind of good idea or theory or idea ahead of time.
Yes.
And if you're not flexible, like you've talked about today, and then something will happen and you'll be thrown off and maybe not get back on track.
It's like gardening. It's an experiment in nature.
Yep.
It's a chemistry experiment, actually, in nature.
Absolutely.
And you think X may happen, but you don't know until you put it to the test.
You don't know.
Like Dr. Grieger.
Put it to the test.
Like Dr. Grieger.
With a double blind experiment.
Yes. And so it is with life and relationships and connections.
I had some basil plants and they were getting kind of leggy, and I thought, well, I'll clip off the top of them and put them in water. I don't know if they're going to root or not.
Yeah.
But over 10 days, now they got roots.
Okay.
I didn't know that was going to happen.
Huh?
Don't
What
forget your plant.
What a mystery and discovery.
Well, and discovery is a big thing. So sometimes we're looking for rules.
Yeah, and the discovery is where all the mystery and magic is.
Wow. So, but like I said, kindness to you.
Yes.
And it's not your job to, sacrifice yourself on the basis of some guess of what might make somebody else happy.
That's right, because then that's into one of those F's of people pleasing,
It
fawning.
is. It is.
Yeah. And maybe it depends who it is, too.
Sure.
Yes.
You know, like how regularly they're in your life,
Yes.
Yeah.
like your spouse.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you might choose to do it,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
see how that went.
Yeah.
And see if there was a surprise there for you.
Yeah. And see how that went. This is the
Yeah.
big thing. And
See how it went.
Do it.
Yes.
And
Experiment.
on the basis of results, you reformulate the experiment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
How was your day?
I just thought it was amazing.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I think I got, it's not new because we delved into it, some 6 years ago, but I feel like there must have been some growth that happened inside of me because this time I just feel like I got so much more out of it.
Yes.
And also it's just really motivated me to keep doing the work,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
doing the meditation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just to see what the benefits are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so really thank you for coming out.
Great.
Yes,
I'm
thank
glad
you,
we
Karen.
made it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Todd, would you like to say anything? You didn't know I was going to ask you.
No, I didn't expect you to ask me anything. I think it's a good reminder to keep on track of our mental health and how we see the world and how we view things is very important, and how we can get misled in a moment and distracted for a long time. So
Yeah.
I think all the things that we've gone over today have been very important. It's not something you can just learn once. You have to live it and remind yourself daily sometimes that this work is important and not to let it slide. And it affects everyone in your life.
Yeah.
Not just yourself, but
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
people that live with you and people around you.
Yeah.
all these things will become so much more valuable and important and meaningful if we keep working at these principles.
Yeah.
And that's, it's not over today, it starts today,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Not the truth.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
So thank you for being here, and thanks
Thank you.
anybody who's watching this. And I wish us all the best.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Thank you for inspiring us.
Yes,
Right.
beautiful.